Alright, so Donald greetings and a blessed day to everyone. Welcome to our YouTube video about the explanation of our midterm project in object-oriented programming. And our group is composed of respectfully yours. My name is Mark Justin Alzona and Elrob John Irabon. We have Leslie Ann Madula and also Shania Magda. We have Radin Rayu Maloles and Chelsea Urbina. So for introduction, Dangal greetings. We are group Puro Aral and we are excited to present the dental clinic management system. So to give you some background, when we go to a clinic area or a clinic establishment, most of the clinic here in the Philippines are traditional. So they write any kinds of transaction in record book, which is inefficient because sometimes there is an overcrowded information where the management of the clinic cannot search properly, or it takes time in order to search specific data or withdraw information. So now, the problem is Dr. Rivera has a new clinic in Cabuyao City. And she required us to create a dental clinic management system that manage dentist informations, manage clinic or client information, and also manage transaction between dentist and also clients. And the clinic management system has a report management system also that shares or prints a receipt or, for example, any kinds of report during that day. So our system is designated or designed to simplify clinic operation by keeping track of dentists, just like I have said earlier, clients and treatments, whether it is filling, cleanings, or extraction or check-up. So it is static or provided in the problem. So with our system, Dr. Rivera's team can easily assign services to dentists, generate reports, and manage record without hassle. Alright, so moving forward. So in explaining to you, we have here a UML diagram. So I cannot zoom it, so probably I will move this into another presentation. So I will be right back.
So, Dangal greetings and a blessed day again to everyone. Now, let me explain to you the UML design or class diagram for clinic management system. So, for our main class, which is called clinic, we have here 5 different kinds of attributes that is uniquely private. So, we have here a scanner in order to receive, or static scanner to receive the user input, which is static because it can be accessed in the entire program. And also we have here a list of dentists, list of clients, list of transaction, and also report feature. So since our clinic management system require us to manage different kind of dentists, also clients and transaction, so it is a list. So later on in the program, you will see how it is programmed. So we have here a lot of what they call this methods. So all of these are private, so it won't be accessible to any other classes. So we have here 6 or 5 different kinds of classes that is related to our clinic management system. So first of all, we have here the dentist class, which has a attributes and also method. So I will explain later how the methods and attributes are used. First of all, let us define the relationship of each classes to the client class. So this, we have here most of the common relationship used in this program is the aggregation. So when we say aggregation, from the word aggregate, it is a whole part relationship. Just like association, but in a different way. So we have here dentist aggregates, or in other words, belongs to the class of clinic. So we have here one clinic and one or many dentists. So in dentist class, we have here another class that is inserted within the dentist class. So our professor called it nested classes or nested class. So it is the existence of class inside a class. So it is called a composed relationship in the object-oriented programming. When we say compose or composition, it has a det-whole part relationship, meaning when dentists are interrupted or dentists are removed, the service cannot stand on its own. So we have here one dentist has one or many service or services. So moreover, the dentist is related to two different classes. So it is related to transaction, which means dentist belongs to transaction. So it is a whole part relationship, meaning one or many dentists are presented in the transaction because it is given in our problem. Next is the dentist is also aggregated or belongs to report manager. So one or many dentists and one report. So now let us proceed to client. The relationship of client and the clinic is the same as dentist. So it is a whole part relationship called aggregation. So one or many client are managed inside the clinic management system. So the same as dentist, client is related or connected to two different kind of classes, also transactions and report manager. So now, the transaction, the same as the other classes, it is a aggregation, which is transaction is belong to the clinic management system. So one or many transactions are recorded inside the clinic. Also for the report manager. So actually, that is the basics of UML design. And now let us proceed to the coding. So, this is a very, very long journey because our program composed of many lines of code because it is a entire system built for a clinic management system. So now let me describe the imports or Java utilities. We have here the import java.time.localDate. So what is the purpose of this? Java.time.localDate is for the recording of the current date. So it is used in the entire program just to record the date today. For example, I will be creating a transaction. So automatically, the local date will record the date, which is today, March 31, 2025. Also, we have used the import java utility.array list for the list of dentist, clients, and transactions. So it is the same as list. So we have here java.util.scanner to record user input and also java.util.input mismatch exception to handle error handling. So now for our public class clinic, we have here 5 different kinds of attribute which has an access modifier of private, meaning it is not accessible to any other classes. So it is static so that it is accessible to other methods here in our main program. So we have here scanner SC is equals to new, which means instantiation or creating of object scanner to receive any kinds of user input. Then we have here list of dentists, that is the parameter of object, and the name dentist, it is an array list. And the same goes with clients, transactions. So now we have here an object report manager, which is called report feature in order to manage different kinds of report. So the class report manager will be explained by my group mate later. So for our main class, we have here a basic interface. So we have here the clinic management system and 5 different kinds of options. So today I was tasked to explain to you the dentist menu and also the client menu. So for the dentist menu, so here, so let me just show to you the dentist menu. So the dentist menu has a basic UI interface which has 7 different kinds of options that I will be explaining to you briefly today. So we have here the hire dentist, remove dentist, display dentist or detail, update details, archive dentist, and restore dentist. So for the hire dentist, so the string dentist name, dentist address, and contact are recorded and initialized for the try-catch. So this goes the recipients or receiving of user input. So this code or block of codes are represented for validation of contact number. So after we have received all of the information we have gathered or needed, so we have here the instantiation for services. So we have a list of dentist.service. So dentist.service will be explained later on. And also the method used there. So now, after receiving all of those information, we will now create a new dentist as object that has a parameter of those user inputs. Then, we will add it to the dentist list. So basically, that is the hire dentist, or that is how it works. So now, let me explain to you another method, which is remove dentist. So this has a function to remove a dentist, or for example, the dentist resigned. So this has a first an error handling. If the dentist list is empty, this will be shown in our output or in our console. So in removing dentist, we have used the dentist ID because it is unique as a selector of which dentist will be removed. And we have initialized boolean is found as false so that when the dentist is found, we will set it as true. So we have used a for loop in order to traverse the entire list of dentists so that the dentist ID, which is specified by the user, will be found once this program is executed. Now, if the dentist ID from the user or from the manager inputted and it is equivalent to the recorded dentist ID, so immediately we will remove it. So using this block of code, dentist dot remove is a method of a list. So we will remove the dentist, which is initialized here as the dentist ID. So basically, that is the remove dentist. Now let us proceed for display dentist. So just like the remove dentist method, the private static void display dentist has a error handling for the empty list. So I have explained that earlier. So this is just a few block of codes, but we use here a for each loop. So for every dentist, display dentist, which iterates through the dentist list. So we will display the display dentist dot to string. So it is a method recorded in the dentist class which displays all of the details presented or recorded in our program. So now, this is the update dentist details. So the update dentist details has an error handling first, meaning it will not function if the dentist list is empty. So in order to update that, we will require the user to input again the dentist ID so that we will know as a programmer which dentist object will be selected for the update details. So we use the for loop in order to traverse the entire list and to find the exact dentist which has the same dentist ID from the user or manager. So the same condition, if the dentist ID provided is found inside the dentist list, then we will modify it. So now we have initialized here a new dentist object. So Mr. Elzona, what is the purpose of this? So we have here a temporary dentist update dentist object in order to handle that selected dentist object for modification. So now, before we modify it, we will check first that selected update dentist object, is it archived or not? Because in our program, it is if it is archived, meaning it will not be changed or cannot be updated. You must restore it first from the archive list in order to modify it, remove it, or display it. So now, in updating the dentist list, we will ask the user those kinds of user information we have in dentist, such as name, address, etc., etc. So, specifically, this is handled excuse me, using this try catch in order to handle any kinds of exception or errors. So after receiving all of those information, we will now update it or the update dentist. We will set the entire services which is included here so that the services will be updated. So that is basically how the update details for dentist work, which is the same in the client class. So now we have here the archive dentist. So the archive dentist, same goes with the other program or method. It has an error handling which determines if the dentist is empty, then it will resolve to a message which shows there is no employed dentist. So the same as other method, we have a selector as dentist ID in order to specify which dentist object or which hired dentist will be used in archiving the dentist. So how we will archive that dentist. So in the dentist class, which will be explained by my group mate, it has a attribute called isArchive. So meaning we will just set it as true to archive that selected object. So what is the purpose of this? When the dentist object is archived, meaning temporarily removed from the list but not removed forever, so you cannot print it, you cannot access it, you cannot change or modify it, or you cannot manipulate that object because it is archived. So that's how basically it works. So in order to manipulate it or update it, you have to use this method, which is restore dentist. So later on, I will show you how it works in the entire output. So now, the restore dentist has the same concept here in archive. The only difference is we set the archive method in the dentist class as false, meaning it is not archive or not on the archive list. And I have added here an error handling, which if the dentist is not archive, then it will show a message which signifies it is not recorded in the archive list. So basically, that's how it works, and it is the same in the client menu. So it is the same method. We have here add client, remove client, display client, archive client, restore client, and update client details, which is basically the same in the dentist class. So I will just show to you the entire code. Alright, so that's basically my part. Now let's proceed to the output of this program. So I will just run it. And now first we select the dentist menu. So the dentist menu has 7 kinds of options. First, I will show to you, you cannot remove dentist, you cannot display dentist if it is empty. So let's select, for example, to remove dentist. So it will show there is no employed dentist. So it is a basic error handling. Now let's try to archive. So you cannot archive because there's no employed dentist. So now let's hire dentist. For example, you are a dentist in this clinic. So the program requires us to input the dentist name. So let me just use some random name, Juan de la Cruz. Right, so the error handling, it is not my part to explain to you, but this code has an error handling, which if you input a number, but this requires a string, so it will designate as error, or there will be an error explanation or error handling explanation later. So enter address, for example, is 125 MacArthur Street. So the contact number, let's say, is here 912345678 for just example for this program. And now the commission rate, so let's say 20%. And the number of service offered. So I will show to you if you exceed the number or total count, let's say 5, it will show a error handling. And if it is 0, so it will show an error handling. So let's say 2. So now this is a selection of offered services which is provided by the program or the problem. So let's say Mr. Juan de la Cruz can check up and clean teeth and also tooth extraction. So now the dentist is hired successfully. So welcome to the clinic of Dr. Rivera. So welcome, Juan de la Cruz. It has a unique ID. So this will be explained to you by my groupmate later how that ID popped up over there. So that's basically how hired dentists work. Now, since we have a dentist, we can now remove display, update, archive, and restore dentist. So now before we edit or use the update details or any kinds of method here, let me just show to you how the archive dentist work. Let's say we archive this dentist. So we will now use the selector, which is the unique ID of the dentist. Let's say 001. So now Juan de la Cruz has been archived or temporarily removed from our list. So let's try to remove dentist. Let's say 001. Ayun lang, meron logical error dito. So, pakikat na lang, pakikat na lang. Pakikat. So, saan ba ako natapos? So, ayan, cut na lang natin. Ayan, so again, so let us now try to restore the dentist. But before restoring the dentist, let's just display the details or try to display its details. So it says there is no employed dentist. Why? Because the Juan de la Cruz is just temporarily removed from the entire list. So now I have just showed to you when we select the display details, it will not function because the dentist selected is archived. And now I have tried to restore the dentist, which requires us the dentist ID. So Juan de la Cruz has been restored. Now we can remove display details and update details in a short manner. So let's try display it again. So there you go. Since it is not archived anymore, we can see the details presented in the first object or the first dentist we have recorded in the system. Now let us try to update the details. So updating the details, which object will be updated? So since it is Juan de la Cruz and the only single dentist we have here in the dentist menu, so I will select his ID. Now, dentist Juan de la Cruz is found. Let us enter the new name. So, let's say we want to keep Juan de la Cruz. So, we will just press enter and it will be kept. Then, the new address, let's say 230 Pampanga, Philippines. Then, let's try another number 0923145678 just for reference. And a new commission rate 10. So now you can edit or even update the services provided. Let's say only one. And it is just the checkup and cleaning. So the dentist Juan de la Cruz details has been updated. And congratulations, let's display it. So there you go. So we have here Juan de la Cruz and the new address, the new contact number, the new commission rate, and new services. So before we go to other what we so-called function, let us just hire another dentist named Pedro Penduko. So Dr. Pedro is from the city of Cabuyao, let's say, for reference. And contact number 0987654321 just for the reference. Commission rate 50%. It will be explained to you later what is the purpose of commission rate. Sorry. Then the number of service offered, let's say all of those services. So it will be automatically generated. So there you go. Welcome, Dr. Pedro Penduko. We have a unique ID auto-generated 002. It is unique. It won't be any kinds of duplicates or same dentist ID. So let us display all of those dentists. We have here hired dentist Juan de la Cruz and also another hired dentist. I'm sorry for the UI, so we will just update it after this explanation. So now we have here two different kinds of dentists. Let's try to remove the dentist. So let's say we will remove Dr. Juan de la Cruz. So Dr. Juan de la Cruz has been removed. So let's try to display the list. So there you go. We have here 002, meaning Dr. Juan de la Cruz has been removed from the list. So now let's try to Actually, that is the main function of this dentist menu, and there are other error handling. So, for example, we have archive a dentist, so you cannot update it or display it. So, but for the sake of this video or explanation, let us just temporarily return to the main menu, and let's go to the client menu. So the same in the dentist menu, we have 7 different kinds of options. We have the add client, remove client, display, archive, restore, and update. So it's just the same functionality or program code and the dentist classes or dentist function. But for the sake of this discussion, I will explain to you. Let's say we want to add another client. So automatically, this is for the purpose of local date, which has been imported in the Java.utility. So the date is recorded, the date 2025, March 31. So let's say we have here a client named Juan de la Cruz. So the dentist Juan de la Cruz has resigned just to be a client for this clinic, Juan de la Cruz. And Mr. Juan de la Cruz has an address 123 MacArthur Street. And the contact number, of course, in order to contact the client, 091234456789. So just for your reference, if you exceed the required number in the Philippine number of contact number, so it has an error handling. So let's say, right, so the contact number must be between 10 to 12 digits. So again, let's input 091234567889. So welcome client Juan de la Cruz, which has a client ID of year dash the unique ID of that client. So now, just what we have done in the dentist, let's just archive the client. So 2025-0001 for our selector of the client ID. So now, Juan de la Cruz has been archived. So let's try to display the client. Oops, the client is archived, so meaning it is empty. So now before restoring Juan de la Cruz, just add another client named Pedro Silang. So enter the address as a 230 Carnacion Street. The contact number 0987654321 for the reference. So welcome another client. So you can see the auto-generated code here for the client ID, which is included in the client class, will be explained later by my group mate. So let us display the clients. There you go. So the only one can be displayed here is this client. So now let's just restore the first client that we have here before updating it. So 2025-0001. So welcome back, Juan de la Cruz. And when we display it, there you go. So we have first client and the second client. So now let us update a client. So for example, we want to update the details of Pedro Silang. We have a typographical error for its name. So let's try to I'm sorry, I have selected Juan de la Cruz, but for the sake of this explanation, we have to rename it Juan San Cristobal. And I want to keep the address and change the contact number to 9456-123-879. So there you go. The details is updated. So I've just returned to the main menu. So the transaction menu and report menu will be explained to you by my group mates. So that's all, and thank you for your time, and God bless us all.
Greetings everyone, I'm Leslie Ann Matula, and I will be explaining the other half of the main class or the clinic class. In the latter part, we still have 8 other methods, mostly for displaying the transaction menu and the report menu method. On the first method, the transaction, we have the transaction menu. It is a menu that will pop after choosing the transaction option in the main menu. Here, we simply have a UI design of the menu and then a switch case that calls different methods in transaction, depending on what the user chose. The action will loop until the user chose the option 7. On the second method, we have create transaction. To create a transaction, we have to check first if there are dentists and clients involved in the transaction. If the list is empty, the transaction cannot proceed. Otherwise, the user will proceed and choose between the people involved in the transaction. To make this list, we used a for loop to iterate on each dentist and client. As long as it is not archived, the program will take the people's names and list them. We also used a while loop to repeat the program until the user had answered a valid input, and a do while inside whether the user wanted to add another service attached to the dentist. It is important to mention that inside this while block, we used a class composition using dentist.service to get the services of the dentist according to each one's specialty. With this, we can display the services on the output so that the user knows which service they need to add. Once done, the object transaction will store the selected client, the selected dentist, and the selected services. Then outside the while block, the transaction object will be added to the transactions array list. The third method is the update transaction. This is similar to the first method but with added programs to update the existing transaction. As always, first check if the transactions array is empty. Otherwise, the user will then choose a transaction to edit using its ID. In the program, we always use for loop for checking or listing, then using getter methods to compare, store, or output. Once the user chose a transaction to edit, we will make an object for the selected transaction by getting the index of the transactions array. Right here. After taking the attributes of the retrieved object in an array, the user will be faced with more menu on what they wanted to edit. This is where we use another do while and switch case blocks for a program menu. Case 1. Case 1 changes the client. The program will print a list of clients that the user wants to replace the old client with. After inputting their choice, the program will retrieve the value and place it on an object. The object will get the index of the new chosen client. Then, in the selected transaction, it will replace the client using the set client to new client. Case 2. Case 2 changes the service or adds a new service. Similar process but for dentist and service. Once chosen, we create objects to be placed in the selected transaction with its new values in it, replacing the service record of the transaction. Case 3. Case 3 removes a service. To remove a transaction service, the program will put a list of services in the transaction. The user will then choose what they want to remove. After using the n-1 formula for index, we used it as a parameter to use the remove method in the selected transaction after getting the service. Case 4 exits the update menu and default for an invalid selection. The next method is the delete transaction, wherein after listing a bunch of transactions for the user to choose which to delete, as always, we will instantiate the selected transaction object again by getting the index in the array of the transactions array list. But before deleting, the program will ask for confirmation. It will ask if the user will agree to delete the transaction, and then the program will then remove, if the user agreed, then the program will remove the selected transaction using the index in the array. Else, it will cancel or print the invalidity of the input. The next method is the archive transaction. After getting the ID of the transaction to archive, the program will proceed to a for each block of the array. Once the ID has been found, it will set the archive to true for it to be archived. If not found, it will print that it's not existing. The other method is to restore the transaction, where the process is similar to the archive method, but instead of setting the archive to true, here we will set it to false. And the last method for the transaction is displaying the transaction. If empty, it will say that there is no transactions recorded. But if there is, it will print the date using local date object, then using for each in the transactions array, we will then display each transactions with the toString method. And the very last method in the main class or the clinic class is the report menu. It is similar to the transaction menu, but it just shows the UI design of the report menu and a switch case for the different options. That is everything for the main class or the clinic class. Thank you.
Hi, I am Chelsea Urbina and I'm going to explain to you the dentist class. It is a part of our dental clinic system. So let me just give you a brief introduction about this class. So it is designed to manage dentists and their services. So it assigns each dentist a unique ID and stores their personal and professional details and allows tracking of their offered services. So let's go through our code. Let me walk through you to our code in the dentist class. So here we have in the dentist class we have attributes, which is the unique ID, the dentist ID, the name of the dentist, its address, contact number, commission rate, and we have a list that will be a container of the services uh, that is available for every dentist. So and we have a boolean is archive. So we also have a constructor here with this is a parameterized constructor setting the name, setting the default values for the name, address, contact number, commission rate, and commission rate and then services. So this will be later used if the user creates an object. Um, this will be the following attributes of the object. Okay, so there are also getters and setters. For the dentist ID, this returns the ID. The get name, this returns the name of the dentists. So number set name, this will set the name, and also get address returns the address, set address sets the address, get contact number, it returns the contact number, sets the contact number. Here return the commission rate, it sets the commission rate, and it also returns the list of services and also sets the list of services. Here we have it sets the boolean set archive, and we have a method here is archive that will be later be useful for checking if the dentist is archive or not. So here we have a method. So for generated unique ID, so let me explain to you the generated unique ID. So the generated unique ID method, it creates a unique 4-digit ID for each dentist. So it starts with the unique ID, which is a static counter that increments with every new dentist. So the method ensures that the ID are always at least four adding leading zeros when necessary. For example, if the ID is 1, it it becomes 0001. And if it's 12, then 001 or 12. So, yes. So again, and the next method will be the toString. So it is an overrided method. It means when we call the dentist class, this will be the first one to print out. So this method formats and display the dentist information, including the ID, the name, the address, the contact number, the commission rate, and the services. It combines all services into a single and separating them with commas. So if the dentist is archived, instead of showing the details, it simply returns the dentist is archived. And lastly, here we have an inner class inside the dentist class, the service class. So it also have its own attributes. First is the service name, and then the double, the service price, which is these two attributes are in a private access modifier, which will not be accessible outside the class. So here we have a constructor or a parameterized constructor that will be usable later for creating the service object. So here we have setting the service name and setting the service price. So here we also have getters and setters. So we have a get service name for returning the it returns the service name, and then we have a set service name. It sets or updates the service name. So here we also have get the service price, or it returns the service price. So here we have a method um, that sets the price when the name is, so it has a parameter service name. When the service name is determined, it checks if the service is the service chooses by the user is fillings, then it will return the price of 1,000. And if the user choice chooses checkup and cleaning, it returns 600. Then in teeth whitening, it returns 500. In tooth extractions, it returns 100. So that is the overall walkthrough of the dentist class.
So, Noel, greetings everyone. I am Shalaya Magda, and today I'm gonna discuss the class diet of our uh, midterm project program, which is the clinic management system. So first here we first of all make the class client. So under or in the client class, nag-declare po tayo ng attribute which is nakaset into private para hindi siya accessible in the other class. So, dito, nag-set tayo ng instructor to to initialize uh, which is nag-initialize ng mga object kapag gumamit ng new keyword sa main class, which is the clinic class. So, instance siya ng isang class. So, it works kapag gumawa ng bagong client object. So, here kapag nag-add ng client dito. So, kapag nag-add ka ng bagong client, ginagamit mo itong instructor. So, isa-set nito yung mga initial values ng mga attributes, which is itong name, contact number, address, tsaka client ID. So, yung generate or the client ID, so automatic siyang nag-generate ng year, which is the current year, 2025, and then sineset niya yung meron siyang, sinaset niya yung is archive false kasi, or by default kasi naka-archive talaga yung, by default hindi naka-archive yung mga client, yung mga client kasi merong ditong choices. So, itong pinaka-purpose ng object na ito is gagamitin niya to dito sa sa archive client. So, na i-explain ko din later on sa code na to. So, here, merong getters and setters. So, para saan nga ba yung getters and setters? So, getters, it will return the initial value dito sa client class natin. So, and yung client or yung setters naman natin, so kapag nag-enter na ng bagong ID, so nag-a-update siya, ina-update niya yung mga ina-update niya yung values ng bawat client natin. So, ito na yung archive. So, itong archive method natin, so, sinaset niya, magiging active siya kapag pinili ni user yung number 4. So, wait lang. So, right here, enter muna ako ng mga client dito sa baba. So, kapag pinili ni user yung number 4, so, yung archive na nakaset na merong yung bawat client, magiging active siya kapag, or yung specific client na pinili mo dito sa number 4. So, ma-identify siya since yung client ID is unique identifier siya of each client. So, kapag pinili mo yung, or pumili ka ng client ID na gusto mong i-archive, ma-archive siya. So, mag-show siya dito sa toString method. So, kapag i-check muna nito. So, ang toString method para siya sa better visualization ng mga user since not all the user na is naiintindihan yung ganito. So, parang for better formatting siya. So, in all, toString method purpose is to show the all inputted value of the user pag samasamahin niya yon. So, i-check muna niya if naka-archive ba yung client na to. So, dito sa ginawa ko, since in-archive ko yung client number 1, right here, kapag pinindot mo yung display, hindi siya mag-show. So, sasabihin niya lang is the client is archived, which is ito yung else or yung else condition kapag naka-archive yung client. Pero kapag hindi, i-show niya tong the rest of this which is ito. Sino-show niya yung mga information about the client, which is yung attributes na nakaset under the client class. So, the last method right na naka-indicate or nakalagay dito sa client class is yung private string generate client ID. So, ang purpose nito is gumawa ng unique identifier for each client. So, para ma-identify siya or magkaroon ng, yun nga. So, ginagamit ng generate client ID para magkaroon ng unique identity yung each class. So, para kahit magkapare-parehas yung name, address, at contact number, ma-identify mo na magkaiba siya using the client ID. So, kahit pare-parehas ng information, ma-identify mo siya. So, dito, ginawa natin siyang private para hindi siya maging accessible outside the the client class. So, first right here is the int ID number equals unique ID increment. So, ano bang ginagawa nito? So, ginagawa siya kapag nag-add ka ng uh, you add a client, it automatically set a value of 1. So, ito yan. Set siya ng value of 1. And then, kapag nag-add ka ng another, mag-i-increment yung value. So, magiging 2 and 3 and so on. So, itong if-else condition dito is para i-keep yung format ng client ID, which is the year, and then yung value nung each user. So, kapag yung ID number is below 10, which is 1 to 9, lalagyan niya ng 0 or tatlong 0 sa unahan. Gaya nito, 0, 0, 1. So, para makip niya yung 4 digit each. So, sa year, and then din sa kanan, 4 digit siya. So, next is kapag less than 100, which is 99, 10 to 99, ang ilalagay niya naman na 0 is dalawa lang. So, let's pretend na 10 to. So, 1 and 0, and then ang ilalagay niya lang dalawa para makip yung 4 digits na format. And then, right here naman, kapag nasa 3 digit na yung format dito, pag 3 digit na yung format, ang gagawin niya, isa na lang yung idadag niyang 0 sa unahan. And then kapag ang nakalagay na is 4 digit na format, is wala na siyang idadagdag since kinikip nga nito, again, yung 4 digits. So, itong kabuuan ng, I will show you the kabuuan ng client class natin. So, in the client menu, so when you click the client menu in the clinic management system, so ito nga, pag nag-add ka ng attributes, ito yung parang initial value niya. So, nag-add ako ng initial value, which is yung Shania, Ligaa, and then nag-add ako ng another client, and then nag-add ako ng 2 other client, which is here. So, as you can see kanina, gaya kanina nga, meron siyang unique identifier. So, nag-i-increment siya. And then, right here, makikita niyo dito yung pag-display ko sa client, which is itong toString. So, na-display siya lahat since hindi ko naman nilagay, or if I didn't declare the clients to archive. So, it will display it all right here. So, in the option number 2, there is, it is called remove client. So, ang kaibahan niya is kapag ni-remove mo yung client, hindi mo siya mababalik. Unlike here in the archive, kapag in-archive mo siya and then you display it, it will show again that the client is archived, and then it will show the other, kapag click mo yung archive for the client, andun pa rin siya. So, ibig sabihin, restorable siya, unlike the remove client na kapag tinanggal mo siya, hindi na siya pwedeng i-restore. So, kapag pinindot ko yung archive, and then gusto ko siyang ibalik, pipiliin ko lang tong restore client na option. So, kapag pinalik ko siya, i-enter ko lang yung ID ng client na in-archive ko. Then, kapag display mo siya, is mare-restore na siya. or nandito na siya ulit. So, here is the update. Pag in-update na siya, I think this is the what happens in the setter. So, ito yung nag-update ng bagong value sa client natin. So, if you want to change, you just you're just gonna put the new value that you want to add. Pero if gusto mo siyang i-keep, you just press enter, and the function of that is in the main method. So I'm showing here the setter na kapag nag-enter ka nga ng value, ng bagong value, yun yung isa-set niyang bagong value instead of the initial value na yun niya. So here, it will show that it is updated. So ano nga ba yung binago natin dito? Binago natin yung number. So right here, ito na yung bagong set ng contact, ng value ng contact number. So that's all for my part. Thank you for listening.
Dangal greetings everyone, I am Radin Rio Maloles from 2ITD, and today I will explain the transaction class in our midterm research project. The transaction class is an essential component of our system as it manages client transactions, links clients with dentists and their services, calculates total cost, and maintains transaction records. This class ensures that every dental procedures performed is well documented and systematically recorded. Now I will go through the details of the class and its functionality. The transaction class consists of various attributes, constructors, methods, and functionalities that allow it to store and process transactions efficiently. It is designed to ensure proper tracking of services provided by dentists, making it a vital part of our project. The class contains several attributes that store key details about a transaction. The client attributes hold the details of the person availing of the dental services, while dentist is a list that stores all of the dentists involved in the transaction. The services list records all the dental procedures performed, using that each service is linked to corresponding dentist. The total price attribute keeps track of the total cost of all services included in the transaction. The isArchive attribute determines whether a transaction is completed and stored for record-keeping purposes. Lastly, the transaction number is a unique identifier generated for each transaction, making it easy to track and reference specific cases. To properly initialize an instance of the transaction class, a constructor is used. The constructor takes a client object as a parameter and initializes the list of dentists and services. It also sets the total price to 0 and marks this transaction as active or not archived. Initially, the transaction number is generated using a placeholder dentist ID, which is the 000, which is later updated when a dentist is added. The class includes several getter and setter methods that allow controlled access to private attributes. The getClient and the setClient methods retrieve and modify the client details. The getDentist and getServices methods returns the list of dentists and services respectively. The getTotalPrice method retrieves the total cost of services, while the setArchive boolean isArchive method allow marking a transaction as archived. The isArchive method checks whether a transaction is archived or still active. The getTransactionNumber method retrieves the transaction's unique identifier, and getFirstDentist returns the first dentist involved in the transaction, ensuring that primary services provider can be easily identified. One of the critical functionalities of this class is the transaction ID generation. The generate transaction ID method ensures that Every transaction has a unique identifier by combining the client ID, the dentist ID, and the randomly generated 4-digit number. This prevents duplicate transaction records and ensures that every service rendered is traceable. The generated transaction number follows a specific format such as TXN 123456789012, where 1234 represents the client ID, 5678 represents the dentist ID, and 9012 is the unique random number. To provide a readable summary of each transaction, the toString method is implemented. The method formats and returns transaction details, including the transaction number, client name, and the list of dentists involved, the services performed, and the total price. If a transaction is archived, it simply returns a message stating that the transaction is archived. Otherwise, it iterates through the dentist and services list to display which dentists perform which service, ensuring transparency in their records. Another important feature is the add service method, which allows adding a new service to a transaction. When a service is added, the method ensures that the dentist providing the service is also included in the transaction. If the dentist is not already in the list, they are added and transaction ID is updated to reflect the first dentist involved. The method also updates the total price by adding the cost of the newly added service. This ensures that every service is accounted for and that the total price remains accurate. So working on the transaction class has been an enriching experience as it has given me a deeper understanding of OOP, which is the Object-Oriented Programming principles, particularly in handling lists, constructors, and data encapsulations. Through this project, I realized how crucial it is to design well-structured classes that efficiently manage data. The transaction class highlights the importance of keeping records organized, generating unique identifiers, and ensuring that every transaction detail is stored correctly. Moreover, implementing proper getter and setter method reinforces the importance of data security and controlled access to attributes. This project also helped me to improve my problem-solving skills and logical thinking, as I had to ensure that the system functions smoothly without errors. Overall, working on this class made me appreciate how programming can be applied to the real-world scenarios, such as tracking transactions in a dental clinic. It has been a valuable learning experience, and I am excited to apply these principles in the future project. Thank you for listening, and I hope you gain insights from my explanation. Now let's go on to our next reporter. Thank you.
Dangal greetings, I am Elrob Irapon and I will explain to you the report class or the report manager class. So this class handles generation of various reports for this system or the dental clinic system. And this class provides the functionality to view dentist performance, client history, the transactions, and also financial summary. Then now, let's move on to the public class report manager. Inside of it, it has the attributes for scanner, list dentist, list client, and list transactions. So this list dentist will store all the dentist records, and as well as for the list client and list transaction, which will serves as a list to store the client and transaction records. Moving on to the constructor public report manager with its parameter related to the attributes scanner, list dentist, list client, list transaction. Then moving on to the first method, this method named show dentist report. So this method generates and displays the detailed report for selected dentist, including all service performed, the earnings and commission calculations. So inside this method is a statement that checks if there are any dentist registered in the system. Then you can see for loop dentist to iterate through all dentists and display only the active dentist, excluding the archived ones. Then a print that will prompt the user to enter the ID of the dentist. After that, dentist selected dentist equals to null. So this will search for the selected dentist in the system. And the for loop that checks for the matching ID that the user input on the prompt earlier. So if d.get dentist ID that equals dentist ID and d that is archived, select dentist equals d, then break. After that, an if statement that handles where dentist wasn't found or is archived. So if selected dentist equals to null equals, or print will say dentist not found or archived. Then it will proceed to the dentist report. It will print the dentist report. And after that, we initialize some variables which are total earnings, service count, has transactions. So these variables is used for tracking the financial data. After that, we have for loop to process all the transactions to find those involving this dentist. So inside this for loop, we have an if t.get dentist, so t for transactions, or it's not t.get service dot size. So this skips transactions where dentist or service counts don't match. Then another for loop to check each service in this transaction. Then print client service price. So this will just display all the service details alongside this, for the client. It will get the name of the client, then the service name, and service that gets service price. Then if has transactions, so this will handle the case where dentist has no recorded transactions. So it will print no transactions found for this dentist. Then it will proceed to the display summary section with calculated totals. And a print that will print the commission and the PHP or the money. So this will calculate and display commission based on the dentist's rate. So PHP, or the symbol for money. Then moving on to the next method, we have show client report. So this will generate and display a complete history report for the selected client, and it will show all the transactions and services that that client received. So inside this method, we have if clients that is empty. So this will check if there are any clients in the system. So if there is no, or if it's empty, it will print no clients available. Then after that, it will proceed to the displaying of the active clients. And after that, for loop to show all active clients. Then print to prompt the user to enter the ID of the client. Then after entering the ID of the client, it will proceed to the for loop that will search for the selected client. After that, we have if selected client equals to null. So this will handle where client was not found or is in the archive. Then it will proceed to the client or the displaying of client history. Then another initialization for the variables total spent, service count has history for tracking the transaction for the clients. After that, for loop transaction. So this for loop will process all transactions to find those for this client. Then moving on to the other method named show all transactions. So this displays a complete list of all transactions in the system with detailed information about each transactions. So inside this method, so transaction is empty, this will check if there are any transaction. Then it will proceed to displaying all the transactions. So by doing that, we have for loop to process each transactions. Then another for loop to display each service in the transaction. Then after that, there is a print for total, or it will display the transaction total and add to the grand total, which is this part, grand total PHP plus, or then finally the last method named show financial summary. So this method generates a comprehensive financial summary including the total clinic earnings and the individual dentist commissions. So inside this method, this will display the financial summary generated. So this display report header with current date. And a double clinic total equals to 0 to calculate total clinic earnings from all the transactions. And by doing that, we have the for loop for the transactions. Then this will print the clinic earnings. After that, dentist commissions, which will calculate and display the commissions for each dentist. And after that, another for loop to calculate the total earnings for this dentist. Then finally, displaying the formatted commission information. So this is the format. And that will be all for the report class. Thank you for listening.